I hope you are all fine in the knowledge that we all participate whether we show up or not. And to that end, tonight we are in a room in Captain Horster's house. The room is bare, unused for a long time. Nobody asked me, but we could have used this empty space for any manner of things. A school, a nursery, a theater even. Well, Captain Horster has been beneficent enough to host a sort of meeting, or are they voting? I can't get any answers. There's a large, angry crowd out front. Some are here to listen, most not. I'm not staying so mealy-mouthed tonight. I'm speaking up. Well, before I do, I'll just slip around back for a quick one. Me liquid courage.
Captain Horster.
Oh, come in. I don't have enough chairs for a lot of people, so I decided not to have chairs at all.
My name is Billing. Don't you remember? At the doctor's house?
Oh, yeah, sure. I've been so busy, I didn't recognize you. Why don't those people come inside?
I don't know. I guess they're waiting for the mayor or someone important so they can be sure it's respectable in here. I wanted to ask you a question before it begins, Captain. Why are you lending your house for this? I never heard of you connected with anything political.
Well, I travel most of the year. Do you ever travel?
Not abroad, no.
Well, I've been in a lot of places where people aren't allowed to say unpopular things. Did you know that?
Sure, I've read about it.
Well, I don't like it.
Well, one more question. What's your opinion about the doctor's proposition to rebuild the springs?
I don't understand a thing about it. Oh, come in, come in. I don't have enough chairs, so you'll just have to stand.
Try the horn.
No, let him talk first.
Don't need a horn. Head off.
I don't want any roughhouse. You hear me? Oh, come in. I've got chairs for you.
There's quite a crowd on the sidewalk. Why don't they come in?
I suppose they're waiting for the mayor.
Were all those people on his side?
Who knows? People are bashful, and it's so unusual to come to a meeting like this. I suppose they...
Good evening, ladies. I just wanted to say I don't think this is going to be a place for you tonight.
I don't remember asking your advice, Mr. Billing.
I'm not as bad as you think, Mrs. Stockman.
Then why did you print the mayor's statement and not a word about my husband's report? I mean, nobody had a chance to find out what he really stands for. Why, everybody on the street there is against him already.
If we printed his report, it only would have hurt your husband.
Mr. Billing, I have never said this to anyone in my life, but I think that I'm lying.
You do that once more and I'll throw you out of here.
Catherine? Petra?
Good evening.
Why so coldly? He wanted a meeting and he's got it. Isn't he here?
No, the doctor's going around town to be sure there's a good attendance.
Fair enough. By the way, Petra, did you paint that poster, the one somebody stuck on the town hall?
You can call it a painting. Yes.
You know, I could arrest you. It's against the law to deface the town hall.
Well, here I am.
You arrest her, Peter. I'll never talk to you again.
Catherine, you have no sense of humor. I was just joking.
Say, Mr. Captain, who's running? Who's the candidate?
You're drunk. Now get out of here.
No law says a man who's drunk can't vote.
Get out of here. Get out.
I want to vote. I got a right to vote, don't I?
Your Honor, he's...
Oh, gentlemen, right this way. In you go now. Come on, folks.
Damn, this place is packed. I can't breathe. Ugh. Open the window, let in some fresh air.
Sorry, there are no chairs, folks, but, well, I couldn't get a hall, so now just relax. This is not going to take long. Oh, I'm glad you're here, Peter.
Wouldn't miss it for the world.
And how do you feel, Catherine?
Just promise me you won't lose your temper.
Didn't I tell you to get out of here?
Look, I'm like everyone else. If you ain't voting, what the hell's going on here?
I order you to get out of here and stay out.
I don't like the tone of your voice. And if you don't watch your step, I'm going to tell the mayor right now and he'll throw all yous in the jug. What are you, a revolution here?
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we might as well begin. Quiet down now. All right, well, listen, the issue...
We haven't elected a chairman, Doctor.
What? Look, I'm sorry, Mr. S. Laskin. This isn't a meeting. I advertised a lecture.
I came to a meeting so I could vote, Doctor. There's got to be some kind of control here.
What do you mean, what control? What control?
Sure, let him speak. This is no meeting.
Your Honor, why don't you take charge of this?
Okay, just a minute now.
Somebody responsible has got to take charge. There's a big difference of opinion here.
What makes you so sure? You don't even know what I'm going to say.
I've got a pretty good idea what you're going to say, and I don't like it. If a man doesn't like it here, let him go where it suits him better. We don't want any troublemakers here.
You don't know what he's gonna say. Let him talk.
Look, friend, you don't know anything about me.
We know plenty about you, Stockman.
From what? From the newspapers? How do you know? I don't love this town. I am here to save the town, the life of the town.
Just a minute, Doctor. I think the democratic thing to do is to elect a chairman.
I nominate the mayor.
Oh, no, that wouldn't be fair. We want a neutral person. I suggest Mr. Esloxon.
I came to a lecture. I didn't come.
Is that what we're doing here? I thought we were voting.
What are you afraid of? A fair fight? Second, Mr. Esloxon.
All right. If that's your pleasure, look, I just want to remind you, the reason I called this meeting was I have a very important message for the people, and I couldn't get it into the press. Nobody would rent me a hall. I just hope I'm going to be given time to speak here, Mr. Slaskin.
I just want to have one word before we start. Whatever is said tonight, please remember, the highest civic virtue is moderation. Now, if anyone wants to...
I heard that. Since when are you allowed to electioneer at the polls? I'm going to report this to the mayor, goddammit!
Quiet, please! Quiet! Does anyone want the floor?
Mr. Chairman.
His Honor, the mayor, will address the meeting.
Gentlemen, there's no reason to take very long to settle this tonight and return to our ordinary, calm, and peaceful life. Here's the issue. Dr. Stockman, my brother, and believe me, it is not easy to say this. He has decided to destroy Kirsten Springs, our health institute.
Peter!
Run him out!
Let him talk.
We don't want you here.
Let the mayor continue, please. There mustn't be any interruptions.
He has a long and very involved way of going about it, but that's the brunt of it, believe me.
Then what are we wasting time for? Run him out of town.
No, wait a minute. I want no violence here. I want you to understand his motives. He is a man, always has been, who is he's never happy unless he is badgering authority, ridiculing authority, destroying authority. He wants to attack the Springs so he can prove that the administration blundered in its construction.
May I speak?
The mayor's not finished.
Thank you. Now, there are a number of people here who seem to feel that the doctor has a right to say anything that he pleases. After all, we are a democratic country. Now, God knows. In ordinary times, I'd agree 100% with anybody's right to say anything. But these are not ordinary times. Nations have crises, and so do towns. There are ruins of nations and there are ruins of towns all over the world, and they are wrecked by people who, in the guise of reform and pleading for justice and so on, broke down all authority and left only revolution and chaos.
What the hell are you talking about?
I'll have to insist, Doctor.
I called a lecture. I didn't invite him to attack me. He has the press, he has every hall in town to attack me. I've got nothing but this room tonight.
Oh, poor doctor.
My heart bleeds for you.
Oh, me too. My aching, bleeding heart.
I don't think you're making a very good impression, Doctor. Please continue, Your Honor.
Now, this is our crisis. We know that what this town was like without our institute. We could barely afford to keep the streets in condition. It was a dead, third-rate hamlet. But today, we're just on the verge of becoming internationally known as a resort. I predict that within 5 years, the income of every man in this room will be immensely greater. I predict that our schools will be bigger and better, and in time, this town will be crowded with fine carriages. Great homes will be built here. First-class stores will be opening all along Main Street. I predict that if we are not defamed and maliciously attacked, we will someday be one of the richest and most beautiful resort towns in the world. These are your choices. Now, all you have to do is ask yourselves a simple question. Has any one of us the right, the democratic right, as they like to call it, to pick at minor flaws in the springs, to exaggerate the most picayune faults?
No way!
I agree.
No!
And to publish these defamations for the whole world to see? We live or die on what the outside world thinks of us. I believe there is a line that must be drawn. And if a man decides to cross that line, we, the people, must finally take him by the collar and declare, you cannot say that.
I want to hear the doctor.
Forget about it.
All right. All right. I think we understand each other. Mr. Isloxon, I move that Dr. Stockman be prohibited from reading his report at this meeting.
Well said.
He paid for the hall.
Oh, shut up, you damn fool.
Quiet, please! Please, now! I think we can proceed to the vote.
Well, you're not going to let me speak at all?
Doctor, we're just about to vote on that question.
Yeah, damn it, ma'am. I have got a right.
The point of order, Father.
Yes, point of order.
Yes,
We want to
Doctor.
discuss the motion.
That's right, damn it. I want to discuss the motion.
All right, go ahead.
Now, listen. He talks. Not one word about the facts.
Oh, we're tired about hearing about the water. We don't want to hear any more about the water.
You're just trying to blow up everything.
You judge for yourself. Okay, let me read. Let
Yeah,
me read.
No.
No way. He's a phony. I need my job. You can't just close the whole damn town.
Please now, please quiet. We can't have this uproar. I think, Doctor, that the majority wants to take the vote before you start to speak. If they so will, you can speak. Otherwise, majority rules. You won't deny that.
No, don't bother voting. I understand everything now. Look, can I just have a few minutes?
Mr. Chairman!
Look, I
Mr.
won't
Chairman.
mention the Institute. I have a new discovery. It's 1,000 times more important than all the institutes in the world. Look, may I have the platform?
I don't see how we can deny him that, as long as he confines himself.
Springs are not my subject. Before I go into my subject, I want to congratulate the liberals and the radicals among us, Mr. Hofstad.
What do you mean, radical? Where's your evidence to call me a radical?
You got me there. No evidence at all. I guess there never really was any. I just wanted to congratulate you on your self-control tonight. Why, you have fought in every parlor for the principle of free speech these many years.
I believe in democracy. When my readers are overwhelmingly against something, I'm not going to impose my will on the majority.
Well, okay, you have begun my remarks, Mr. Hofstad. Ladies and gentlemen, Mrs. Stockman, Miss Stockman. Look, tonight I was struck by a sudden flash of light, a discovery second to none. But before I tell you, I have a little story. I put in a good many years in the north of our country. Up there, the rulers of the world are the great seals and the gigantic squadron of ducks. Men live on ice, huddled together in little piles of stone. And his whole life consists of grubbing for food. Nothing more. He can barely speak his own language. And it came to me one day that it was romantic and sentimental for a man of my education to be tending to these people. They had not yet reached the stage where they needed a doctor. If truth be told, a veterinarian would be more in order.
Is that the way you refer to decent, hardworking people?
I expected that, my friend. But don't think you can fog my brain with that magic word, the people. Not anymore. Just because there is a mass of organisms with a human shape, they do not automatically become a people. That honor has to be earned. Nor does one automatically become a man or a woman by having a human shape and living in a house and feeding one's face and agreeing with one's neighbors. That name also has to be earned. Now, when I came to my conclusion about the spring...
You have no right to talk about the springs.
That's a picayune thing. To catch me on a word. Peter, I am not going into the springs when I became convinced that my theory about the water, well, the authorities moved in at once. I said to myself, I'll fight them to the death because
What are you trying to do? Make a revolution here?
Let me finish. I just thought to myself, the majority, I have the majority. And let me tell you, friends, it was a grand feeling because that's the reason I came back to this place of my birth. I wanted to give my education to this town. I loved it so. I spent months without pay and encouragement, and I dreamed up the whole project of the springs. And why? Not because as my brother says, so that fine carriages and could crowd our streets, so that we might cure the sick. That's why. So that we might meet people from all over the world and learn from them and become broader and more civilized. In other words, more like a people.
You don't like anything about this town, do you?
Admit it. You're a revolutionist, aren't you? Admit it.
Yes, okay, I admit it. I proclaim it. I am a revolutionist. I am in revolt against the age-old lie that the majority is always right.
He's an aristocrat all of a sudden.
And more, I'll tell you something. The majority is always wrong. And in this way.
Have you lost your mind? Stop talking before you...
Was the majority right when they stood by while Jesus was crucified? Was the majority right when they refused to believe that the earth moved around the sun and they let Galileo be driven to his knees like a dog? It takes 50 years for the majority to be right. The majority is never right until it does right.
I want to state right now that although I've been this man's friend, and they have eaten at his table many times, I now cut myself off from him absolutely.
You answer me this, please. One more moment. A platoon of soldiers is walking down the road towards the enemy, and every one of them is convinced he's on the right road, the safe road. But 2 miles ahead stands one lonely man, the outpost. He sees this road is dangerous. And His comrades, they're walking into a trap. He runs back. He finds the platoon. Isn't it clear that this man has the right to warn the majority, to argue with the majority, to fight with the majority if he believes that he has the truth? Before many can know, one can know something. One must know it. It's always the same. Rights are sacred until it hurts somebody to use them. I beg of you now, realize this. The cost is great. The inconvenience is great. The risk is great that other towns will get the jump on us while we're rebuilding.
As Loxon, he is not allowed to
Now,
talk
let me
about the
prove it to
springs.
you. Let me prove it. The water is poisoned.
One more word about the water, and I'm going to take you outside.
No violence! We don't want any violence!
Come on! Let's give him a taste of his own medicine!
Wait a minute, I'm not through yet!
All right, that is enough. Now stop it. Quiet. There is not going to be any violence here. All right, now sit down, or I will not be responsible for what happens.
I'd like to go home, Tom.
I move that the chairman order the speaker to leave.
Sit down.
Get off!
All right, I'm going to take this to an out-of-town newspaper, and the whole country is warned.
You wouldn't dare.
You're trying to ruin this town, that's all. Trying to ruin it.
You're trying to build a town on the morality so rotten that it will infect the country and the whole world. If the only way you can prosper is this murder of freedom and truth, then I say with all my heart, let it be destroyed. Let the people perish.
Arrest him! Arrest him! He's a traitor!
Enemy!
Enemy!
Revolution!
I would like to submit the following resolution. The people assembled here tonight, decent and patriotic citizens in defense of their town and their country, declare that Dr. Stockman, medical officer of Kirsten Springs, is an enemy of the people and of his community.
That's not true. He loves this town.
You are damn fools! You're fools!
Get him out of here!
Is there anyone against this motion? Anyone against?
I am.
One!
Me too. You can't do without a doctor.
Anyone else? With all votes against two, this assembly formally declares Dr. Thomas Stockman to be the people's enemy. In the future, all dealings with him by decent, patriotic citizens will be on that basis. The meeting is adjourned.
Captain, you have a room for us on that ship of yours to America?
Anytime you say, Doctor.
Catherine, Petra?
You better get on board soon, Doctor.
Let's go out the back door.
Right this way.
No back doors. I want to mislead anybody. I'm the enemy of the people, and I'm not finished in this town, not quite yet. If anybody thinks...
Enemy!
Trouble. Always trouble.
Traitor!
Enemy. Enemy.
Throw him
Enemy.
in the river! It was a rough night. I hardly slept. No one did. A night full of riots. We're now in the Stockman's living room. The following morning, the windows are broken. It's cold in the house. There are stones all over the floor.
Catherine, tell what's her name. There's still stones to pick up in here.
She's not finished sweeping up the glass. Oh, it's hard to believe this is the same town.
I'm going to keep these as a sacred relic. I'm going to put them in my will. I want the girls to have them in their home to look at every day. Oh, God, it's cold in here. Why hasn't what's her name gotten the glazer yet?
She's getting him.
She's been getting him for 2 hours. We're going to freeze to death in here.
He won't come here, Tom.
No, the Glazer's afraid to fix my windows.
You don't realize people don't like to be pointed out. He's got neighbors, I suppose. And anyway, this came for you.
What is that now? What do you know? We're evicted.
Oh, no.
Yes, he hates to do it, but with public opinion, what it is.
Well, maybe we shouldn't have let the girls go to school today.
Now, don't get all frazzled again, all right?
But the landlord is such a nice man. If he's got to throw us out, this town must be ready to murder us.
All right, calm down. We're going to go to America, and this whole thing is going to be like a dream.
But I don't want to go to America. When did this get torn?
I want that. Must have been last night.
Your best pants?
It just shows you. That's all. When a man goes out to fight for the truth, he should never wear his best pants. You just stop. Stop worrying. No time at all. We're going to be 3,000 miles away.
But how do you know it'll be any different there?
I don't know. It seems to me it's a big country. The spirit must be bigger. Still, I suppose they have solid majorities there too. I don't know. I mean, at least there must be more room to hide there.
Think about it more, will you? I'd hate to go halfway around the world and find out we're in the same place.
You know, Catherine, I don't think I am ever going to forget the face of that crowd last night.
Don't think about it.
They had their teeth bared like animals in a pack. And who leads them? Men who call themselves liberals, radicals. The crowd lets out one roar and they're where are all my liberal friends? I bet if I walk down the street now, not one of them would admit that he ever met me. You listening to me?
I was just wondering what we'll ever do with this furniture if we go to America.
You never listen to me when I talk, dear.
Why must I listen? I know you're right. Petra, why aren't you in school?
What's the matter?
I'm fired.
Oh, they wouldn't.
As of 2 weeks from now, but I couldn't bear to stay there.
Mrs. Boss fired you.
Who'd ever imagined she could do such a thing?
Oh, it hurt her. I could see it because we've always agreed so about things. But she daren't do anything else.
No, the glazer daren't fix the windows. The landlord doesn't dare let us stay on.
The landlord?
Yes, evicted, darling. Oh, God, on the wreckage of all the civilization in the world, there ought to be like a big sign, they didn't dare.
I really can't blame her, Father. She showed me 3 letters she got this morning.
Who, from?
They weren't signed.
Naturally. The big patriots with their anonymous indignation scrawling out the darkness of their minds on the dirty little slips of paper. That's morality. And I'm the traitor. What do the letters say?
Well, one of them was from somebody who said that they'd heard at the club that somebody who visits this house said I had radical opinions about certain things.
Wonderful. Somebody heard that she heard that he heard. Catherine, okay, listen, we're going to pack as soon as we can. I feel as though vermin were crawling all over me.
Good morning.
Captain, you're just the man I wanted to see.
I thought I'd see how you all were.
Oh, that's awfully nice of you, Captain. And I want to thank you for seeing us through the crowd last night.
Did you get home all right? We hated leaving you alone in that mob.
Oh, nothing to it. In a storm, there's just one thing to remember. It will pass.
Until it kills you.
You mustn't let yourself get too bitter.
Well, I'm trying, but I'll guarantee how I'll feel when I try to walk down the street with traitor branded on my forehead.
Don't think about it.
What's a word?
Word can be like a needle sticking into your heart, Captain. It can dig and corrode like an acid until you become what they want you to be. Really an enemy of the people.
Right. You mustn't ever let that happen, Doctor.
Frankly, I don't give a damn anymore. Let summer come. Let an epidemic break out, and they'll know whom they drove into exile when he was sailing.
You really decided to go, Father?
Absolutely. When do you sail, Captain?
Well, that's really what I came to talk to you about.
Why? Something happened to your ship.
You see, we can't go.
No, the ship will sail, but I won't be aboard.
No!
You're fired too? Because I was this morning.
Oh, Captain, you shouldn't have given us your house.
Oh, I'll get another ship. It's just that the owner, Mr. Vick, happens to belong to the same party as the mayor, and I suppose when you belong to a party and the party takes a certain position, because Mr. Vick himself is a very decent man.
Yes, they're all decent men.
No, really, he's not like the others.
He doesn't have to be. A party is like a sausage grinder. It mashes up clear heads, long heads, fat heads, blockheads, and what comes out? Meatheads.
Oh, maybe that's the glazer.
If you're busy.
Just picking up broken glass. Come in, Peter. What can I do for you this fine, brisk morning?
Oh, come inside, won't you, Captain?
Yes, I'd like to finish our talk, Captain.
Be with you in a minute. Keep your hat on, your jacket, Peter, if you like. It's a little drafty in here today.
I think I caught a cold last night. That house was freezing.
I thought it was kind of warm, suffocating, as a matter of fact. What do you want?
May I sit down?
Not there. A piece of the solid majority is liable to open your skull. No, here. Sit. Now, don't tell me.
Yes.
I'm fired.
The board met this morning. There was nothing else to do, considering the state of public opinion.
You look scared, Peter.
I haven't completely forgotten that you're still my brother.
I doubt that.
You have no practice left in this town, Thomas.
Oh, people always need a doctor.
A petition is going from house to house. Everybody is signing it. A pledge not to call you anymore. I don't think a single family will dare refuse to sign it.
You started that, didn't you?
No. As a matter of fact, I think it's all going a little too far. I never wanted to see you ruined, Thomas. This will ruin you.
No, it won't.
For once in your life, will you act like a responsible man?
Why don't you say it, Peter? You're afraid that I'm going out of town and start publishing about the springs, aren't you?
I don't deny that. Thomas, if you really have the good of the town at heart, you can accomplish everything without damaging anybody, including yourself.
What's this now?
Let me have a signed statement saying that in your zeal to help the town, you went overboard and exaggerated. Put it any way you like, just so you can calm anybody who might feel nervous about the water. If you'll give me that, you've got your job. And I give you my word, you can gradually make all the improvements you feel are necessary. Now, that gives you what you want.
You're nervous, Peter.
I am not nervous.
You expect me to remain in charge while people are being poisoned?
In time, you can make all your changes.
5 years, 10 years? You know your trouble, Peter. You just don't grasp, even now, that there are certain men that you can't buy.
I'm quite capable of understanding that. But you don't happen to be one of those men.
What do you mean by that?
You know damned well what I mean. Morton Keel is what I meant by that.
Morton Keel?
Your father-in-law, Morton Keel.
I swear, Peter, one of us is out of his mind. What the hell are you talking about?
Now, don't try to charm me with that professional innocence.
What are you talking about?
You don't know that your father-in-law has been running around all morning buying up stock in Kirsten Springs?
Buying up stock?
Buying up stock. Every share he can lay his hands on.
I don't understand, Peter. I mean, really, what has that got to do with...
Oh, come now. Come now.
I hate it when you do that. Don't say, come now, come now. What the hell are you talking about?
Very well, if you insist on being dense. A man wages a relentless campaign to destroy confidence in a corporation. He even goes so far as to call a mass meeting against it. The very next morning, when people are still in a state of shock about it, his father-in-law runs all over town, picking up shares at half their value.
My God.
And you have the nerve to speak to me about principles?
What? You actually believe that I
am not interested in psychology. I believe what I see. And what I see is nothing but a man doing a dirty, filthy job for Morton Keel. And let me tell you, every man in this town will soon see the same thing.
Peter, you are...
Now go to your desk and write me a statement denying everything you've been saying, or I will see to it.
A low creature, a low creature.
All right then, all right. You better get this one straight, Thomas. If you're figuring on opening another attack from out of town, keep this in mind. The morning it's published, I will send out a subpoena for you and begin a prosecution for conspiracy. I have been trying to make you respectable all my life. Now, if you want to make the big jump, there'll be nobody there to hold you back. Now, do we understand each other?
Oh, yes, we do, Peter. Morton, what have you done? What's the matter with you? Do you realize what you make me look like?
Kirsten Springs shares. Very easy to get this morning.
Morton, don't play with me. What is this about?
What are you so nervous about? Can a man buy some stock without having complaints about it?
I want an explanation, Morton.
Thomas, they hated you last night.
You don't have to tell me that.
But they also believed you. They'd love to murder you, but they believe you. The way they say it, the pollution is coming down the river from Windmill Valley.
That is exactly where it's coming from.
Yes, and that's exactly where my tannery is.
Well, Morton, I never made a secret to you that the pollution was tannery waste.
I'm not blaming you. It's my fault. I didn't take you seriously, but it's very serious now. Thomas, I got that tannery from my father. He got it from his father, and his father got it from my great-grandfather. I do not intend to allow my family's name to stand for the 3 generations of murdering angels who poisoned this town.
Look, I've waited a long time for this talk, Morton. I don't think you can stop that from happening.
No, but you can.
What are you
I bought these shares because you...
Morton, you've thrown your money away. The Springs are doomed.
I never throw my money away, Thomas. These were bought with your money.
My money?
You've expected and probably expected and suspected that I might leave a little something for Catherine and the girls, right? I decided this morning to invest that money in some stock.
You brought the junk with Catherine's money?
People call me a badger. They call me an animal that roots out things, but it's also some kind of a pig, I understand. I've lived as a clean man, and I'm going to die clean. You're going to clean my name for me.
Morton?
Now, I want to see if you really belong in a straitjacket.
How could you do such a thing?
Now, don't get excited. It's very simple. If you should make another investigation of the water, and with this time...
I do not need another investigation.
Think it over. I hope you decide that you ought to change your opinion about the water.
The water is poison. It is poison.
If you simply go on insisting the water is poison with these shares in your house, then there's only one explanation for you. You're absolutely crazy.
You're right. I'm mad. I'm insane.
You're stripping the skin off your own family's back. Only a madman would do a thing like that.
Morton, I'm a penniless man. Why didn't you tell me this before you bought the junk?
Because you would understand it better if I told you after. God damn it! I think you do understand it now, don't you? Millions of tons of water. How they
Oh my God. It's not
Oh,
possible.
little animals have clotted up only the patch of water you souped out of the river. How do you know the rest of it wasn't pure?
It's not probable. People are getting sick all summer.
They
all
were sick
summer.
when they came here, or they wouldn't have come.
Intestinal diseases, skin
The
diseases.
only place anybody gets a bellyache is here. Maybe the food was bad. Did you ever think of the food?
No, I didn't look into the food.
Then what makes you so sure it's the
How
water?
I tested the water.
Admit it, you're all alone here. You have some doubt.
Look, okay, I mean, there's always
Then part of it's imaginary.
Nothing is 100% on this earth.
Then
but
you have
I
a
am here
perfect right to doubt the other way. You have a scientific right. And did you ever think of some disinfectant? I bet you never thought of that.
Not for a mass of water like that. You can't.
Everything can be killed. That's science. Thomas, I never liked your brother either. You have a perfect right to hate him.
I didn't do this because I hate my brother.
Part of it, don't deny it. You admit there's some doubt in your mind about the water. You admit there may be ways to disinfect it, and yet you went after your brother as though these doubts didn't exist, as though the only way to cure the thing was to blow up the whole institute. There's hatred in that, boy. Don't forget it. These shares can belong to you now, so be sure, tear the hatred out of your heart, stand naked in front of yourself. Are you sure?
What right have you to gamble my family's future on the strength of my convictions?
Aha, then the convictions are not really that strong.
I'm ready to hang for my convictions. No man has the right to martyr others. My family, they're innocent. Sell back those shares. Give Catherine what belongs to her. I'm a penniless man.
Nobody is going to say Morton Keel wrecked this town. Retract your convictions, or these go to my charity.
What, everything?
There'll be a little something for Catherine, but not much. I want my good name. It's exceedingly important to me.
And charity.
Charity will do it, or you will do it. It's a serious thing to destroy a town.
Morton, when I look at you, I swear to God, I see the devil.
No, don't get excited, please.
Too many intellectuals here. I'd better go.
Doctor, can we have 5 minutes?
I have got nothing to say to you.
I want an answer right away. You hear? I'm waiting.
All right, what? Say it quick. What do you want?
We don't expect you to forgive our attitude at the meeting. But
your attitude was prone, prostrated, and prostituted.
All right. Call whatever you want.
Look, I've got a lot on my mind, so get to the point. What do you want?
Doctor, you should have told us what was in back of it all. You could have had the messenger behind you all the way.
You'd have had public opinion with you now. Why didn't you tell us?
Look, I'm very tired. Let's not beat around the bush. What do you want?
Your father-in-law. He's been all over town buying up stock in the spring. It's no secret anymore.
Well, what about it?
You don't want me to spell it out, do you?
Well, I certainly wish you would.
All right. Let's lay it on the table. Asloxon, you want to?
No. Go ahead.
Doctor, in the beginning, we supported you. But it quickly became clear that if we kept on supporting you in the face of public hysteria...
Your paper created the hysteria.
One thing at a time, all right? We couldn't go on supporting you because, in simple language, we didn't have the money to withstand the loss in circulation. You're boycotted now? Well, the paper would have been boycotted too if we'd stuck with you.
You can see that, Doctor.
Oh, yes. What do you want?
The People's Messenger can put on such a campaign that in 2 months, you'll be hailed as a hero in this town.
We're ready to go.
You will prove to the public that you had to buy up the stock because the management would not make the changes required for public health. In other words, you did it for absolutely scientific, public-spirited reasons. Now what do you say, Doctor?
You want money from me, is that it?
Well, now, Doctor...
No. Don't walk around it. If we started to support you again, Doctor, we'd lose circulation for a while. We'd like you, or Mr. Keel, rather, to make up the deficit. Now, that's open and above board, and I don't see anything wrong with it. Do you?
Remember, Doctor, you need the paper. You need it desperately.
I mean, there's nothing wrong with it at all. I'm not at all adverse to cleaning up my name, although for myself it was never dirty. But I don't enjoy being hated, if you know what I mean.
Exactly.
Miss Loxon, will you show him the budget?
But just a minute. There's just one point. I mean, I hate to keep repeating the same thing, but the water is poison.
Now, doctor.
No, just a minute. The mayor says he's going to level a tax on everybody to pay for the reconstruction. I assume you're ready to support the tax at the same time that you're supporting me.
That tax would be extremely unpopular.
In other words, you'll clean up my name so that I can be in charge of the corruption.
We can't tackle everything at once. A new tax, that'd be an uproar.
It would ruin the paper.
Oh, then you don't intend to do anything about the water.
We have faith you won't let anyone get sick.
In other words, gentlemen, you're looking for someone to blackmail into paying your printing bill.
We are trying to clear your name, Dr. Stockman. And if you refuse to cooperate, if that's going to be your attitude, then I just think we can just...
Yes, well, what are you going to do? What will you do?
We'd better go.
What do you do? I want you to tell me. The man, 2 minutes ago, you were going to make into a hero. What will you do now that I won't pay you?
Doctor, the public is almost
To my
hysterical.
Tell me, what are you going to do?
The mayor will prosecute you for conspiracy to destroy corporation. And without a paper behind you, you will end up in prison.
And you'll support him, won't you? I want it from your mouth, Hofstede. This little victory you will not deny me. Tell me, tell the hero, Hofstede. You're going to crucify the hero, are you not? Say it to me. You will not leave here until I get that from your mouth.
You are a madman. You are insane. A man who will drag his family through a lifetime of disgrace is a demon. You hear me? A demon who cares more for the purity of the public bath than the lives of his wife and children. Dr. Stockman, you deserve everything you're going to get.
Doctor, please consider it. It won't take much money, and in 2 months' time, I promise your whole life will change. And
What happened? My God, what's the matter? Oh, something happened. Look at her.
I'm all right. They just
What happened here?
nothing, Papa. I swear.
What happened? Why aren't you in school?
The teacher said we better stay home the rest of the week.
Who hit you?
They started calling Martina names. So she got mad and began to fight. And all of a sudden, the whole
Why
bunch-
did you do that?
They called him a traitor. My father is no traitor.
But you didn't have to answer.
You should have known they'd all jump on you. They could have killed you.
I don't care.
I'll kill them. I'll take a rock, and the next time I see one of them, I'll kill him. Here.
They called you a traitor. An enemy.
Enough, that's enough. Wash your face. Gentlemen, good day.
Let us know what you decide.
I've decided. I'm an enemy of the people.
What are you saying?
To such people who teach their own children to think with their fists, that I am an enemy. And my girls, my family, I think you can count us all enemies.
Doctor, you could have everything you want.
Except the truth. I could have everything but the truth. That water is poisoned.
But you'll be in charge.
The children are poisoned. The people are poisoned. And the only way I can be a friend to the people is to take charge of the corruption. Then I am an enemy. The water is poisoned. It's poisoned. It's poisoned. That's the beginning of it, and that's the end of it. Now get out of here.
You know where you're going to
I
end.
said get out.
What are you doing?
You're a fanatic. You're out of your mind.
What are you doing?
Oh, they want me to buy the paper, the public, the pollution of the springs, buy the whole pollution of this town. They'll make a hero out of me for that. But I'm not a hero. I'm an enemy. And now you're first going to find out what kind of an enemy I will sharpen my pen like a dagger. And you friends of the people, you are going to bleed before I'm done. Go tell them to sign their petition. Warn them to call me. And whenever they're sick, beat up my children and never let Petra into school again because she'll destroy the immaculate purity of the vacuum in there. See to the barricades. The truth is coming. The truth is out. And soon it is going to be prowling like a lion in the streets.
Doctor, you are a madman.
Get out of here! I have had all the ambassadors of hell today. But there'll be no more. Now, listen, Catherine, children, listen. We are besieged. They're out. They're calling for our blood now. They'll whip the people up like oxen.
The captain knows where we can get a ship.
No ships.
We're staying?
But they can't go back to school. I won't let them out of the house.
That's where we are staying.
Good.
We must be careful now. We must live through this, girls. No more school. I'm going to teach you, and Petra will too. And listen, do you know any kids, street louts, hooky players?
Oh, sure. We know.
We want 12 of them to start. I want them good and ignorant, absolutely uncivilized. Can we use your house, Captain?
Sure, I'm never there.
Fine. We'll begin, Petra, and we will not turn out taxpayers and newspaper subscribers, but free and independent people, hungry for the truth. Oh, shit. I forgot. Petra, you run to Grandpa and you tell him as follows. No!
What do you mean?
I mean, my dear, that we are all alone. There's a long night before it's day.
Oh, half the town is out.
What's going to happen, Tom?
I don't know. But remember now, everybody, you're fighting for the truth. And that's why you're alone. And that makes you strong. We're the strongest people in the world. And the strong must learn to be lonely.
Thanks, everyone. And thanks to all these wonderful actors who did so brilliantly and were so generous with their time. No one got paid to do this. Stay tuned for our next live stream. And again, please consider donating to Family of Woodstock. The link is in the email invitation you received, or you can go to voicetheater.org and then go to support us, or just go below your video. The link is in the description. And please remember to participate in our democracy. If we want to continue the great luxury of having a democracy, we need everyone to vote in November. Night, night, everyone. Stay well, be healthy, and wear those masks.